The month of October was tough for the equity markets here in India, and so from that perspective, it's going to be interesting to note what mutual funds bought and sold in that month. Let's take a look at first the fresh entries, that is, the stocks in which mutual funds did not have a position before and that they added in the month of October. And this is an interesting list because right on top, you have Hyundai Motor India. It's of course a fresh listing and the largest IPO in India, and a considerable amount of money flowing into Hyundai Motor from the mutual fund industry. You also had Mahindra and Mahindra as well as Adani Enterprises, Bajaj Auto and Waaree Energies. Waaree Energies is also a new listing. So 3 automotive companies in this list at a time when the auto space is not necessarily flourishing, is going through a little bit of a turbulent time. Let's also look at the stocks that were exited completely, and this is also an interesting list because right on top you have D-Mart or Avenue Supermarts, and this is because the FMCG space, the consumption space, has been facing a little bit of pressure. And it's evident in the kind of selling that is taking place in Avenue Supermart. You also had Shriram Finance, Infosys, Trent and Bharat Electronics. Trent also interesting because while the company displayed growth in the second quarter, it wasn't to the extent that was anticipated, and perhaps some people feeling that maybe valuations may be looking a little stretched at this juncture. Now, what are the increases in allocation? And what we've done here is we've looked at an increase in allocation. So it's not necessarily only buying, it's also possibly on account of the change in the underlying value, but it'll mostly be on account of buying. And you had HDFC Bank, where you've had as a percentage of assets under management the biggest change. You also have ICICI Bank that has been favored by mutual funds, followed by State Bank of India. So the top 3 are frontline banks, followed by Coforge and Larsen & Toubro, which incidentally, as of today, is trading below a 200-day moving average. Let's also look at the reduction in allocation, and here you have Maruti Suzuki, which has been facing a little bit of a torrid time, particularly because of a lack of demand in that entry-level segment. Of course, they've tried to spruce it up with the launch of the Dzire, but let's see how that pans out for them. You also have Cholamandalam as well as Reliance Industries, which has dropped quite a lot in value, and some people are wondering whether or not a bottom has been found right now, followed by Tata Motors and once again Avenue Supermarts here as well. So this kind of gives you a flavor of what took place in the month of October. Of course, this situation could have changed quite dramatically in the first 2 weeks of November because you've seen consistent selling by foreign institutional investors, and the question is whether or not domestic institutions have doubled down on the bets that they've made in the month of October.